from snow-covered Hartford, Connecticut, where it is time for Big East Women's Hoops. The top team in all the land, the UConn Huskies. Depth of this UConn team. Time now for our starting lineup, sponsored by Jeep. There's only one, and there you see Ali Zabel getting the start, as Kim just mentioned. And now 4 with a shoulder issue. Ball is up in the air, and UConn gets the opening possession here at People's here on FS1 for some Big East Women's Hoops. The UConn Huskies, as I mentioned, have won 40 straight games dating back to last season, as Fudd gets on the board first. Zeenstra with an open corner 3. Butler on. Bell starting a guard, going with a 4-guard lineup, which we saw UConn do quite a bit last game against DePaul. Speaking of Williams, she finds her shot in the mid-range. Was the word he used in what he needs to see from the 6'4" senior forward and Sarah Williams. The defense, though, aggressive for UConn as Zabel flies out of rushing their opponents here recently, Kim.
Yeah, you mentioned how they've been just steamrolling a game in which they didn't win by 25+ points. They've won 19 straight games by 25 points.
And just how dominant this UConn team has been. Beating teams like Iowa, top 10 team, as Johnson is able to get it off the glass.
I like the poise of Butler.
Jackson, the Valpo transfer. Her twin sister, Nevaeh Jackson, also coming in off the bench for the Bulldogs. Zabel on the drive. Zabel gets to the cup.
On the drive.
Zabel leading the way with 4 points, and it's another takeaway here for the UConn defense. Zabel trying to find Arnold, who just lost the handle.
And talking about it, the concerns with his team, which are very few. He mentions the turnovers, but that time they're able to turn Butler over and KK Arnold in the...
Going back to the last time these teams met on December 28th in Indianapolis, as Strong gets it inside and gets the roll.
Deep post up, she demanded the ball from Ashlyn Shade.
Williams now with 4 points, 2 of 2 from the floor, but a 3-ball splashed in. Hudson's going to be happy to see starting aggressive.
Yeah, she's really the only returner. Wow, what a zip pass from KK Arnold. And an end one for Sarah Williams.
Interesting to see KK Arnold playing alongside Kaylee Heckel, who often has stepped in for her running the points. Nice cut, though, and Jackson makes the most of it. Williams, though, leading the way with 7 points. And here comes the UConn defense stepping up yet again. Heckel on the break, lays it up and in.
UConn is looking to put on.
Yeah, the turnover battle with Coach Parkinson identified is going to be key for his team to staying in this game. And speaking of into the game is get it to go. Heckel pushing, Heckel flying forward, gets denied. What a defensive play by...
Using her length, staying out of the way to not be whistled for a foul. Really impressive timing there.
Miller was first-team All-State in volleyball. That kind of looked like a volleyball swat.
Love it.
They do a really good job is once you kind of get over to one of the sidelines, just collapsing on you there. Some good ball movement here, though, for the Bulldogs, and a foul is called. Fudd on the dribble, kicks it back out. Fudd in the corner, yes! And Butler has turned the ball over 9 times. With a couple minutes to go here in this first quarter. As Fudd comes up short, Alfie hits the deck trying to see the cutter. Saw the cut as well. 8 on the shot clock now, though, running out of time. Dotsie thrown up in a whistle. Well, Alfie was called for her first 4th team foul in this first quarter. Few players who did not transfer in this season. Crown Point, Indiana native, transferred in from Purdue prior to... Trying to get the ball inside to Alfie. It's out of play, Butler ball. Produced without Sarah Strong and AZ Fudd on the floor as Langham pulls up. Butler recollects for the second chance. Jackson knocks it down from beyond the arc. Game clock, shot clock. Arnold on the drive. UConn's got to get it off. Shade. Now Alfie brings in the O-board, but 9 degrees and blustery snow. Right around People's Bank Arena. Fudd, automatic from the corner.
Yeah, it's just a simple...
Miller back on the floor as well. 5 on the shot clock, running out of time here. The Bulldogs. Tough shot off the corner of the basket, and the shot goes up. And it did. Zanaya is a redshirt sophomore due to missing all of last year with a knee surgery. Well, Nevaeh Jackson did play last season, but is the one who's missed 6 weeks this year.
Foul on the shot attempts when everything else was so good.
And it was Nevaeh Jackson who was called for the foul, which is her first.
87% before that miss.
34 of 35 from the free throw line, and you kind of heard almost a gasp.
Nice job of getting back by Butler. That's a possession where UConn normally scores off a three. Ooh, another bailout foul on AZ.
Fudd cuts right through the defense. Too strong. Heckel comes away with the ball, though. Fudd with an easy baseline J.
Yeah, that is an incredible use of the NIL. All proceeds from those sales, so go check out her merchandise.
Williams! 10 first-team selection, former Defensive Player of the Year in the Big Ten Conference. But that Wisconsin offense really ran through her. As speaking of running through, Zabel runs right through. Some good half-court defense here, though, from the Bulldogs. Arnold from the top of the key splashes it in. Butler has not scored in the last 4.5 minutes. Nice pass inside. Jackson gets it to go.
That was a really solid offense.
8 on the shot clock. Fudd in the lane. No. Alfie, yes! Zeenstra pushing, the sophomore guard. Finds Jackson, who had some space beyond the arc, and Williams. Fudd. Too strong. O-board, though, they're brought in by Ashlyn Shade. Fudd trying again. Williams. Williams going to work. Williams can't get it to go.
Nice move, unfortunately.
Zabel, the rebound. Arnold, kick out. Shade from the corner. Oh, yeah! Arnold around the screen. Zabel traveled. Go, Johnson gets it up in time, blocked by Williams. Miller tries it again. Last one when it comes to the glass against this UConn team. Rebounding not necessarily the identity, as Fudd gets an easy score inside.
Rim, add that to her display of offense in this game.
Arnold displaying some offense.
Her burst of speed is
really strong in second halves. Their last couple of games, going back to the Tennessee game, a great test for this UConn team as Arnold makes it look easy.
Yeah, just a simple read from
UConn's defense. Just as stifling in the half court as it is in the press, as Williams draws the foul. Sarah Williams was great in that second half, finished with 12 points. Coach Auriemma said after the game, among the best halves she's played this season, as Zeenstra cuts to the basket nicely. And the only returning starter for Butler is one of their key pieces. Coach Parkinson told us came off the bench last game. Really wanted to see how she would respond. Shade
are in this game. See if they look to get her some better looks.
Heckel checking back in, finds Zabel, and Zabel, one of the best shooters for the Huskies. That was her first made three, though. We mentioned her career day just a few weeks back with 34 points against Xavier back on the 28th of January. Defensive disruptor as well. Leads Butler with 44 steals coming into this one. Rare miss for Zabel from beyond the arc. All of them except Kaylee Heckel with 4 more points. Jackson comes up short. Ball out of play. Last touch by UConn. But the team has to be able to avoid slow stretches, even in games that aren't close. They had just a 13-point second quarter against DePaul as Wypitch hits in the mid-range.
And think, what do we need to change? And they certainly changed some things as they ended up routing the Lady Vols.
Fisher, Fisher aggressive just after checking into the game. The freshman guard, Khalees Fisher, just checking in the prior possession. Wilkie, put back chance for Jackson. She's
assists per game, which is really impressive to me. Her three-point shot is picking up. She's made 9 threes in the last 4 games. And there is a 3 from Allie.
Scoring in double figures, and that's the balance and the depth that this UConn team has at their disposal. Dotsie responds with a 3 ball. Yep, Zabel is just the second UConn bench player to receive a Player of the Week honor. Shade, right as we were talking about her. Hits the shot that's here recently. 8 points against DePaul in double figures the 2 prior games. Nice ball movement, and Datsi cash. Butler hitting 3 of their last 3 field goal attempts. Heckel calls her own number that time. Edge, the aggressiveness, the speed at which she plays, and the intensity. Fisher with some intensity, lays it in through traffic. The hunting for the final look. Langham. Oh, great pass.
25 when they lost at Tennessee. So it's been a full year of undefeated play.
And there was a travel called. Alfie's bending over nearly 40 points, 39.5, just over that mark. And it's not just been Big East teams, if that's your main knock. Miller knocking it down. Heckel around the screen from the elbow, gets it to roll home. And they continue to get better in the high pressure moments. Some pressure building though, 5 on the shot clock. Shade on the drive. That was just an outside.
So much balance, so much depth, and then the SEC is tough. Everyone's beating each other, but right now Texas looks really good. Oh, nice finish for Mallory Miller. Those teams are the top 3 for me right now. I'd be happy with any of those 3 teams in the national championship.
Alfie, but this goes on, and sometimes with teams that run that full court press, the high pressure, as Ayanna Patterson checks in and puts it up off the glass. Got to be excited about the future of this Butler program. Sophomore in the starting lineup. The freshman point guard out today. Shade points, 5 UConn players into double figures in scoring. Datsi splashes in the 3 ball.
Yeah, finally Butler gets her.
Heckel. Fisher cutting through the defense. Fisher with a couple of tough makes.
Khalees Fisher has the 90% of the time. All the guards like to attack to the right side. I'd try to take away that right hand. Easier said than done, of course, against the #1 team in the country. But if you really hear, Arnold will go to the left, but a couple of the guards really favor that right side.
Patterson working on the block. Patterson gets it. The offense for this stretch, for this particular possession. Knocked out of bounds there, and it's actually going to go the other way. Last couple seconds, tick off the clock. There's the final buzzer. The UConn Huskies have won their 41st straight game dating back to last year in Hartford.
Super impressive again from Gino's group. Down maybe the best player in the country in Sarah Strong, down another top 3 scorer in Blanc. The tone was set on the defensive end, forcing 23 Butler turnovers, and then a really balanced attack led by AZ Fudd, 17.
Without Sarah Strong, without Blanca Quinones, no problems as they handle the Butler Bulldogs. We're going to wrap things up on the other side and hear from one of the Huskies. Stick around. We're back after a quick break.